Welcome back to the St. Joseph's open web-based learning platform, SoElearn, for a soulful and enriching e-learning experience. Department of Commerce and Management presents MOOC St. Joseph's massive open online course. So in this particular module, Introduction to Commerce, already we discussed about the concept of commerce, import and exports, balance of payments. Now we are going to learn about World Trade Organization. So in this particular chapter, we are going to learn about meaning of World Trade Organization. What are the major objectives of the World Trade Organization? Major role and responsibilities, the functions of the World Trade Organization, and the structure of WTO. Let us see the origin of the World Trade Organization. World Trade Organization was officially established on January 1st, 1995, but its roots go back to much earlier. So here is some kind of the brief explanation regarding the World Trade Organization. So World Trade Organization origin was happened in the post World War II economy recovery. After the World War II, there was a need to rebuild a global economy and to prevent and to rise the trade barriers like tariffs and quotas. The countries wanted the rules-based system to promote a free and fair trade. Then Bretton Woods Conference. So along with the formation of the International Monetary Fund IMF and the World Bank, there was a plan to establish an international trade organization that is called ITO. However, ITO failed to materialized because it was not ratified by the US Congress and some other nations, and all this happened in the Bretton Woods Conference. And this is very important, and this is the major origin for the World Trade Organization, that is the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. Also we can call it as a GATT. So that had happened in the 1947. And it is a temporary solution. GATT was signed by 23 countries in 1947, and it is aimed to reduce the tariffs and the barriers and to promote the international trade. So the main aim of the GATT is reduce the tariffs and to promote the international trade. Over the years, several negotiation rounds happened under the GATT to reduce the trade barriers further, and now and after that was converted into the World Trade Organization. So let us see the birth of the WTO. Orgeat round. So this happened in between the 1986 and 1994. So this Orgeat round is the 8th round of the GATT negotiations. Involved over 120 countries are involved in this particular Orgeat round. And what are all the key achievements? The inclusion of services, intellectual property rights and agriculture in trade talks, agreement to create a stronger permanent organization to replace the GATT. So in that Orgeat round, they decided to create a stronger permanent organization to replace the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. So then comes to the establishment of the WTO. And after discussing in the Orgeat round, they decided to replace this GATT, and then the WTO was created on January 1st, 1995. So it is officially replaced the GATT. Although the GATT rules and regulations are still a part of the WTO framework, but even then also the GATT was replaced by WTO in the year January 1st, 1995. So these are all the core key points or the key characteristics of the WTO. Free promotion. WTO encourages the open trade policies and economic collaboration. Trade negotiations. It facilitates the discussions to establish trade agreements. Agreement administration. Oversees the implementation and adherence to the trade agreements. Dispute resolution. It resolves the trade conflicts between the member countries. So these are all the free trade promotion, trade negotiations, agreement administration, dispute resolution. So let us see the objectives of the World Trade Organization. First one is promote the free trade. So it reduces the trade barriers between the countries and to encourage the free flow of goods and services. Ensures the fair competition. So create a the playing field in international trade through clear the rules and non-discrimination principles. So raising the living standards. So through this trade-led economic growth, WTO aims to improve the employment and income levels globally, promote developing countries, provide special and different treatment to developing and least developing countries, resolve trade disputes. So it is very one of the major important objective in the WTO. It it offers the legal and institutional framework to settle the trade related conflicts between the members nations. Promote the sustainable development. To support the environmental protection and the sustainable development, the World Trade Organization helps the countries. So let us see the functions of the World Trade Organization. Administrative trade agreements. It implements and monitors the rules agreed upon by member countries. Trade negotiation forum. Especially the World Trade Organization is having a special negotiation forum. So it serves as a platform for the trade negotiations in order to resolve the conflicts between the disputes between the countries. So there is a negotiation forum is there. So through that, so we can resolve the conflicts between the one trade to the another trade. Dispute settlement mechanism. After the negotiation, if there are any disputes, still it requires any legal process. So through this DSM is dispute settlement mechanism, we can settle the disputes through a structured legal process and monitor the trade policies also. So it monitors the different trade policies. Every nation is having their own the trade policies. It monitors the periodic reviews. Frequently it conducts the reviews and gives a the clear cut picture about the trading of each and every country. So through that we can frame a policy for the trade. And technical assistance in trading. If any one of the countries, there are in the World Trade Organization we have developing countries and developed countries and underdeveloping countries are also there. If any developing countries and underdeveloping countries are required, any technical assistance or the training from the developed countries, and that can be done through a World Trade Organization will be act as a mediator. So through that they will provide the training and support to the developing countries. Cooperate with other organizations. Collaborate with IMF, World Bank and United Nations for the policy coherence. So this is the structure of the World Trade Organization. What it contains? It contains the Ministerial Conference, so General Council. General Council is a two parts, dispute settlement body and trade policy review body. Under the dispute settlement body we have Council for the Trade in Goods is there and Council for the IP property rights. And Council Trade the goods having a different committees, for example customs, agriculture, etc. And whereas the IPR information property rights, the council also there. So it enforces the units like IPR technology, etc. After the General Council, so from the Council of the Trade of Goods and from the Council of the TRIPS, we have WTO Secretariat is there and then Director General. Director General is the Chief Executive of the World Trade Organization. So Ministerial Conference. So highest decision making body. It meets once in 2 years, attends by the trade ministers of all the members of the countries. And the next is General Council. General Council manages the daily affairs. It functions as the dispute settlement body and trade policy review body also. Council for Trade in Goods oversees the agreements related to the goods like GATT. Council for Trade in Services monitors agreements under GATT. General Agreement on Trade in Services. Council for Trade related aspects of the intellectual property rights. So it deals with the trade and intellectual property rules. And apart from that we have committees and working groups are also there. It addresses the issues like environment, development, and regional trade agreements. The last, Chief Administrative Officer comes under the Director General. It leads to a WTO Secretariat appointed by the conscience of the members nations. So, in this particular chapter, we learned about the origin of the WTO and major objectives of the WTO, functions of the WTO and the structure of the WTO. Structure of the WTO contains General Council, 3 main councils will be there and committees also will be there, and the last Secretariat and the Director General. So, with this we concluded the module 1, that is the introduction to commerce. In this introduction to commerce, in the first chapter we discussed about the the concept of the commerce, and in the second chapter we learned about the imports and exports, their procedure, and the third chapter we learned about the balance of payments, and the fourth chapter WTO. So, with this I am going to conclude this module, introduction to the commerce. Thank you.